have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Yes. We have returned. The greatest think tank ever assembled is back for another episode. Big gratitude everybody who joins us this week and every week. We always got some grand musings for the simulation. And this is going to be a special episode only because I feel like we're beginning to really arrive on the world stage. And the reason I say that we're really beginning to arrive on the world stage is because our Grand Vizier has received some hate mail. And you know, once you get hate mail, that's like the red carpet to being invited into the ball right there. It's like you're not exactly in yet, but once you start getting hate mail, you're definitely on the red carpet and people are taking pictures of you and shit like that. So I'm starting to kind of feel like some celebrity vibes are taking root here. So
is it +2 since the Jew got hate mail first?
Yeah, actually, you know what? That counts even deeper. That's true. That's true, because you can't send the black guys hate mail first, because then you might be called a racist, dinosaur bigot, and then the hate mail reverses and you get canceled for being a racist. So you send it to the Jew first, or the Juice, rather, just to keep us safe from the Yakubian YouTube gods. The Juice got hate mail first. So, brother, could you please explain to us the nature and the tone of the hate mail that you received?
I gotta say, it was very colorful, very well written, a lot of F-bombs,
wow.
Very, very harsh. But you know what? Valid, reasonable, measured criticism. And I agree with you. It's absolutely red carpet. It lets me know you're listening. You're listening,
beautiful.
And you care. And you care enough to say, hey, fuckface, here's what I hate, here's what you did wrong. But the gentleman's objection was, you guys get on here every week, sometimes twice a week, and you wax poetic on and on with your absurdity mining, your ridiculous musings, your suggestions for a completely broken and dysfunctional world, and you point out, rightly so, how completely dysfunctional and disjointed it is. You say, look what's wrong with this, look what's wrong with that, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. You should absolutely be detached from it. But you spend every week talking about the things that would keep you attached to it. That's valid. That's a valid point. You're telling me how important it is to check out from all of this shit, and you're reminding me how I should check out by showing me all the things you should check out from. That's fair. That's fair criticism.
It is.
I accept it.
It is. It's fair. But, okay, so before we get into the full unpacking of that, and whether, you said it's valid criticism, and I do agree, but one, there's these two principles, right? So there's non-attachment and there's detachment. So detachment is actually putting effort in to kind of rip the plugs out and making sure you're not connected to anything. Non-attachment is just not recognizing and not being involved with any of those connections. So you're not spending any energy trying to move yourself away, and you're also not spending any energy trying to make sure you're connected to things. So there's two different ones. I don't want to necessarily spend any energy of my bandwidth trying to forcefully rip the plugs of the machine away from us. Like when Neo woke up and he was like, holy shit, I gotta get out of here. That's detachment. That's him forcing it. Second, one of the simplest and most reliable ways these days seems to be farming revenue from the algorithm itself. And like I said, never have so few owed so much to so many. They've taken so much from us. And when I say they, I mean, the people who are in charge, the people who extract the taxes, the people who make sure you work a 40-hour week and that you barely have enough time to concentrate and do anything that you love because your bills are due, and the people who created that whole reciprocal situation of stress and bill paying and all of that shit. They've taken a lot. They've made themselves absolute billionaires by exploiting and farming the energy from the regular people who are just trying to survive. They've taken so much from us. So why would I not try to find a way to extract some of that revenue back to help us build the world that we want to live in and exist in, rather than just dealing with it. I'm not going to just go take everything I have, sell all my worldly possessions, and move to Amish country. That's not my plan. My personal plan is to use my own creativity, to use my own brain to figure out how to get some of that revenue back, get some of that power back, and then I'll take that and build whatever we want to build. But I'm not just necessarily going to have to reach down into my own pocket, liquidate my own assets. No, if I can find a way to talk smack on YouTube a couple times a week, and bring up some current events and talk about the absurdity of the simulation that we live in, if that can bring in some money, why wouldn't I do that and take the money from the corporations? YouTube's making trillions of dollars. So if they're going to pay me for talking some shit, why not? This is not something that's taken over my life. I'm not completely immersed in it. It's not giving me any stress throughout the week. Like, you believe what this motherfucker said? We got to hurry up and jump on here and talk to. No, that's not what this is. We notice some things. We see some happenings. And some of it is funny enough, or maybe even frustrating enough, to hold our attention until the next time we podcast. And then it's gone. After that, it's gone. One of the most difficult parts about linking up with my brothers and having these conversations, the only thing that I would consider difficult is caring enough about the topics to actually hold on to them and do some research and wait until the day that we decide to get together and hop on the show and push record. Because most of this shit, it's not in my brain long enough. Yeah, it's really not in my brain long enough to make a difference. Most of it barely makes it to the day that we record. It's like, oh yeah, I remember I wanted to say something about this. But I think consistently pointing out the absurdity of the simulation, the world that we live in, the goings on, the happenings, for the people who may not be sure that this is the direction that they want to go in, and maybe like, well, maybe it's not so bad. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's not. But we're going to talk about a few things here and there for the people who are leaning more towards, I think you guys are right, and I am going to figure out a way to get as far away from the baby wood chipper as I possibly can. So that's really what it's for. I think it's completely valid to organize your life around reclaiming your own power and revenue from the billionaire machine that exploits us every day. And that's not even on a conspiracy theory level of things. Just regular old, keep them on the assembly line until they have a heart attack, and then drag them out the back door and bring somebody else in to take their place. That kind of shit. This is what they're doing on a daily basis. So why wouldn't I try to find a way that's not backbreaking work? I'm not swinging a 50-pound sledgehammer. I'm not climbing up on top of a wall anywhere. I'm not going out on an oil rig. Respect to the people who do that shit. That shit has to happen for society to keep moving in the way it's moving. But that's not the way I choose to organize my life and time. I'm going in a different direction. I'm trying to find my own creativity to get out of this hole. So that's why we talk about detaching or being non-attached to the system, but also using the things that are already in place to hasten that process and help make that happen a little faster without just, giving our whole lives away until retirement to a company that would replace you before your body got cold. That's all. In my opinion, that's the way I look at it.
It's also a good way to see that you're not the crazy one. Like you go in your little room, you meditate, you focus on yourself, and you try to do better, and you pay attention to things that you do wrong, and then you just look out the window and you see the clowns. They're still being clowns. Like that's all it is to me.
I think it's a Rorschach test too. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at it, do you feel something?
Right.
Or do you not feel something? It's a way to examine yourself. Like, am I fully detached from this clusterfuck yet? Or am I still emotionally invested? I know it's all bullshit. I know it's by design never going to find a solution in its action or its rhetoric. It's doomed from the get-go. But am I going to keep trying to figure out if it's going to reform itself and be disappointed? Oh, man, why can't they just do the right thing and not fuck us all over? Why? but for this or that. And you just frustrate yourself. And so it kind of makes you confront the reality of whether or not you still feel like an emotional attachment to it all, or if you've truly, truly, for the sake of your health and for the health of everyone around you, have you detached? Have you let the dumpster fire just be a dumpster fire without it having you strung together with it? Like, just let it be. Just let it be. But I think that the frustration of the dude was centered around, okay, you've told me to detach. I'm looking at this shit. I feel something. So I clearly I'm not detached yet, but I want to get detached.
Right.
Talk me through it. Help me. How am I going to get out of this feedback loop where everybody is saying dumb shit? I feel compelled to say, hey, that's dumb shit. And then they hate me, and we just keep going until everyone is angry and nothing gets solved. I'm in that feedback loop. I'm miserable. I agree with you guys that I should be detached. Help me get detached. We're going to help you get detached. We're going to give you some guidelines and some guideposts so you can be a part of the universal cultic confederacy. And that's the only thing that'll ever change the world. Like you said, these dudes are going to do whatever they want. The billionaires, they keep extracting. They're going to keep fighting wars for no reason. So the only thing that really gets us out of this, because you're never going to overthrow it, you're not going to get the right people into the machinery. At best, what you can do is just disincentivize people wanting central power, because it's that much of a headache and the returns aren't worth it. And the only thing that'll get you there is a universal global boycott. And you can't organize that, because by not under the current system, because you're geared towards being a part of one group that's trying to be predicted or the other. You're forced, oh yeah, it's team A versus team B, team red, team blue, and we know what you want. We know who you're going to vote for, and you still think that you might get your way, that anybody in power is going to look out for you if just your team gets in power. And we continually get let down by that, and it never seems to pan out. It never pans out. Nobody gets what they want. You know why? Because it's just power doing what power does. And you're not going to get the right person in there to fix it. You're never going to overthrow it with violence. It just can't be done. It's stupid. It's stupid. That's what they do. That's what they do. They're willing to kill. They have no problem with it. You're not going to outkill the greatest killer in human history. It can't be done. But you know what you can do is not show up. Just don't show up. Like, nah, we don't need what you're selling. We don't need your show. We don't need your poison food. We don't need your money. Like, we figured out a way to be as self-sustained as possible. We make our own food. We trade with other people who are doing the same thing. And when you start getting into that compound shit, you're like, well, you're going to be completely detached. No, you're not. You may not want to live on the compound with the other person, the others, their cult, their values, their religion, their race, whatever you want to break yourselves up by. You may never be to a point where you're like, I'm going to be able to live with them. You don't. You want to be on your compound. And you both may never, your compound and their compound, may never be able to get in political alignment. So that you could have never been a voting bloc together. It just never would have worked. But what you've agreed upon is that the current power structure is always going to do what it can to empower itself and fuck everybody else. We don't care if it pollutes the planet. We don't care if it gets a bunch of kids murdered. We don't care what the fallout is. It doesn't matter. Is this good for our bottom line? And both the left and the right complain that is the reality of how the system works in a lot of instances. It empowers the people and it enriches the people that run it, but it comes at a huge fallout. And that huge fallout is where people on both sides jump up and say, oh, well, that's unjust. That's unjust. We need justice here. This isn't fair. I'm telling you, you're never going to be able to get that out of it. But if you agree, at least on that point, then both of you are in alignment. Like, yeah, so the United States wants to go and fight Ukraine or help it. No. Nobody's willing to be a soldier. Nobody's willing to be a soldier. There's no fight. Sorry, I live on a compound. We're not doing that. Nope. We're doing that. Well, if you don't do that, then you'll lose your job. Cool. I don't have a job. I grow food. I grow food and trade with other cults. That's what I do. So it's a way for people to be in solidarity against lines in the sand. Like, no, we're not doing that. Because under the current structure, I mean, we don't want to go to war, but we always go to war, whether we want to or not. And not just countries where there's autocrats, where there's democracy. Like, it's a joke. We fight over communism or capitalism. You know, should it be a democracy, or should there just be an oligarchy, or should it just be a monarchy and one dude? It all results in the same shit. A bunch of people over there are like, nah, we don't want to kill that other tribe. Well, we're killing them, and that's what we're doing, and we're taking their shit. Well, we don't want to do that. Well, that's what we're doing. And then in a democracy, it's the same thing. Like, the majority of people don't want to go to war. The majority of people want universal health care. The majority of people never get what they want, and it's in a system that's supposedly predicated on that. So clearly it's not designed to work. So you know what? You got to build your own shit. You got to take on some responsibility. And you know what? You got to part with some of the gadgets. You got to part with some of the conveniences. You got to accept some of the limitations of the curse. Some of this shit is just going to be hard. It's going to be less convenient. But there's a trade-off. And the reality is, and that's why we all celebrate complicitous, the reality is that most people don't want the trade-off. Most of the people want to rail how evil slavery was on phones mined by slaves today. And nobody sees the fucking irony or the lack of productivity in that. The insanity. So you got to detach. So you know what I'm doing to detach? I'm absurdity mining. So you know what I got for you today? I got the beige mage. The beige
I've been waiting for this
mage. Look, and it's in honor of LGBTQ whatever, because I don't want to take sides about none of this shit. I love everybody. I don't like most of human behavior, including the human behavior of myself, but I don't want to tribalistically align myself with any faction that says fuck them just by virtue of who they are. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. We could universally call out right and wrong behavior, and that's where I'm at. So we've had a lot of conversations here where people may have perceived that we were unkind to the trans community or the gay or bisexual or any of those communities in the Rainbow Coalition, the flag, right? But it's not. It's not. We're trying to have an honest conversation and saying, some of this shit is weird and too far. And no, you shouldn't be violent towards people just because of who they are. But that's the nature of the algorithm fights, is to get people vested in those sides. So in an attempt to make a bridge and to say, look, I don't got no hate just by virtue of who you are. I came up with a new character specifically for Pride Month. So some of the controversy is, if you go to one of these pride parades, you may see a grown adult man with his dick completely and utterly out in front of a small child. And most people, I would say most, but I would definitely say morally minded people, they might stop and say, I don't think it's ever a good reason as a stranger to have your dick out in front of a child. I can't imagine a circumstance in which it's perfectly understandable, even recommended, even encouraged, for you to have your dick in front of a small child. Now, we're told that it's okay because it's a pride parade, it's just nudity, it's not sexual, it doesn't matter. You can have a 5-year-old child walking down the street and just see strange dicks, strange adult dicks, right at face level, because they're a tiny child, and the dicks are just there. So I think most people would be repulsed by that or be uncomfortable with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean they hate any of those gay men there with their dicks out. They just think, hey, gay guy with your dick out, maybe not do that in front of the little kid. But I came up with a character where it makes sense to have your dick out in front of children.
Oh boy.
So I present to you the beige mage. And if you played Final Fantasy games, they were one of the first games to have transgender characters. They had little dancers that turned out to be dudes. They tricked you. In 7, you had to dress up as a girl to try to get a pimp to think that you were a girl that he would want in his harem.
Damn.
There's a lot of cross-dressing.
They remade that in the new one too.
And they remade it so because it wasn't enough. The pixels weren't good enough to get across the point of how creepy that is. But yeah, the way to save the day, hero, dress up like a girl and be sexually assaulted. That's what's going to save the day. But in that game, you got black mages. They'll hit you with that evil magic, the powerful shit to fuck you up. You got the white mages. They got the healing magic so that people don't die. You got the red mages. They got a little bit of black, a little bit of white. They can do both, but not as good as both of them do in their respective fields. And then you got a blue mage who learns a spell after they get hit with a spell. So can you guess what the beige mage is?
I can't. I'm a blank. I can't figure it out.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's in the compendium. I already know. I don't even gotta ask you to go in the compendium. I'm confident that it's compendium worthy. So he's got his little wizard cloak in, and it's all the colors of the rainbow. It's you know, you got the hood and the hat and the cloak, all the magician shit. And it's in the rainbow colors. It's all the spectrum, right? In the cloak. But the only way he can cast spells is when he opens that cloak up like a flasher, revealing the beige skin underneath. And so this dude is always in court he's been saving the city for decades. But he always has to go to court, but you still pulled your dick out in front of kids. We know that the bus was falling off the cliff and you cast levitate to save it from the bottom of the cliff, but you still did it with your dick out. Listen, this is the only way. It's my wand. It's the only way my spells work is I gotta have my dick out. So basically, it's not really a cloak. It's more of like a duster jacket. You know what I mean? Like it's a trench coat. And he just opens it up, his dick goes out, and he casts spells. Beige mage. He's at the bar, he's drinking, he's like, I got another court date tomorrow. I'm a moral person. I can't just let the crimes happen. I can't just let the people die and suffer. I got the power to save them, but every time I save them, I get new charges. But I'm really just trying to help society by pulling my dick out in front of strangers, even children.
To cast
Pulling
spells.
dicks out is my magic power.
Well, it's not sexualized. He's not trying to abuse them. He's not grooming them. I mean,
He's not.
He's just trying
saving them.
Right. I mean,
If his dick is out, somebody's in danger. And not from his dick.
not from...
They're already in danger. And he's taking his dick out to save them.
Listen, I ain't mad.
Dude, that's not a character the LBGT community could get behind. A beige mage? Dude,
Yeah,
I love it.
and he's
he's
beige.
misunderstood.
Yeah. He's beige. He's right in the middle. You can't really... He's racially ambiguous. You don't really know what he is or what his admixture is. And he's just casting helpful spells to save the children.
Helpful spells, saving them.
They're in danger. I mean, if we can all agree they're in danger, right? What they're in danger from, you never know. It could go either way, but he's helping. He's here to help.
Because that's something that everybody could get behind. Because I think people, it's gonna be more divisive on, should you as an adult man have your dick out in front of a little child? Should you? Should you just for a parade? Should you be able to do that just because it's a parade? I think that would be hotly contested. Yeah. But I think you could build a lot of bridges with unity trolling. If you're like, look, he's taking his dick out because that's the only way he can cast spells. He's a beige mage. And guess what? He always wants to do the right thing. So he doesn't care that he keeps getting drug into court, that he has to report himself as a predator every time he moves to a new neighborhood. It's shameful. It's hurtful to him. They call him a groomer. They call him a pedophile, a sexual offender, because he's pulled his dick out in front of children. But what they don't tell you is at the time that he pulled his dick out, people were in danger, and only by virtue of him pulling his dick out did anybody get saved. Only by virtue of him pulling his dick out did the world get better.
They try to leave that part out in court. And like, well, he did save people, Your Honor. And his lawyer's like, and how exactly did he save them? He saved them with his dick out. Like, they never want to admit that part, but it's always true. Hey, listen, I say anything that is helping children by casting magical spells has to be fair. No matter how those spells are cast, it has to be fair. With everything, I mean, we got dudes right now who are just out in the world twerking in front of kids with assless chaps on. That's not, it's not
right.
magic.
How much more noble is a dude who keeps getting fucked over with charges unnecessarily, endless court dates, but is still willing to never hesitate to use his power to save people, even though the people don't appreciate him. All he's trying to do is save the world, and they keep dragging him into court because, unfortunately, his superpower is pulling his dick out. Sometimes I just feel like this shit is genius, but I could be biased. But I think in the spirit of unity trolling in this climate, that's a magical character.
It is.
The beige mage has to get into the Final Fantasy V remake or whatever the fuck whenever they do some shit. It needs to be an old school RPG. He just comes out dun 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 dun, and you just see the little pixels in the front. The coat flashes, it gets pulled to the side, and motherfuckers start dying. Enemies start getting killed.
Faces
killed
melting.
Allies start getting resurrected. You know,
Yeah.
but you always get a penalty, and you got to stop at a save point for a court date after every fight. You got to set it up because you got to go to court. It's the beige mage.
Yeah, as soon as he kills all the bad guys, the cops arrest him for indecent exposure.
He's out of your party. So, like, he gets to the next. You got to pay the fee to bail him out. Yeah, and again, I'll leave it to the guru and Doobie but I feel like that is some grade A unity trolling. That's a character everybody can love and everybody can hate, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah. And that's what you want. That's exactly what you want. You want a character that's going to split everybody right down the middle. Some people are going to be extremely angry. Some people are going to laugh and they're going to get it. That seems to be the ground you want to occupy. If South Park taught us anything, everybody gets it equally, piss everybody off at the same time, make a bunch of people laugh, and you're kind of bulletproof. If you just pick one group to try to, secretly hate on or something like that, you leave yourself open to a lot of scrutiny. But if you give it to everybody, then, the beige mage flash. Hey, I ain't mad, bro. I ain't mad at all. So wait, Final Fantasy, I didn't know Final Fantasy had like cross-dressing and trans people in it. I never heard that before.
Yeah, there was some cross-dressing.
I think they first showed it. Like, I'm really a fucking nerd and a connoisseur of this shit. Like, I think the first one was on part 2. You go up to these dancers and they say, "Would you like me to dance for you?" And there's the little scantily clad, pixelated 8-bit dancers, and they just jump around the screen all stupidly. Like, they can't animate well, 8-bit, 16-bit, and they just jump around, right? And that's the equivalent of dancing. So you see that a couple times in a couple of villages, and there's this one chick in a bar. You go into one of the taverns, you see one of these girls again, and you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, let me see if she wants to dance again." You go up to her, you say, "Yeah, I want to dance." Immediately, it's a bald-headed dude in his drawers, jumping up and dancing on the bar table, and he just goes back to looking like a girl afterwards, and they never explain why, but clearly, you went up to one of the chicks, and they were a cross-dresser. It's just what it was. And then, in part 5...
And nobody died, nobody got mad, he didn't kill the guy.
Nope. There was no protests, nothing happened.
Nobody cared. Nobody
boycotted
knew.
Square.
Nobody knew.
Nobody gave a fuck. The people who wanted to play the game were like, "I like this game. Whether I like that part of it or not, it's not really a big deal. Who gives a shit? It's pixels."
Didn't they do something like that in Secret of Evermore? You had to dress up as a female? The one with the dog?
I only played that one once, and that was like 30 years ago. I don't remember, but it might have been, but that one, I don't know. Which world was it in out of those 4 worlds? They had like the new one, like the prehistoric one.
I have to watch a long play and go through it to see.
I don't remember, but I know definitely in 5, one of the main characters, you meet this pirate. And everybody thinks it's a pirate. And these are all little pixelated characters. Like, it looks so stupid. But they peek on her undressing, and they all start wowing, and there's little heart icons going over their head because they catch that she's a girl. But she dresses up like a dude to command more power. And she was a main character. Before, these were just...
Final Fantasy 2. They're going to keep coming up with the 7.
Oh, okay.
NPCs.
Well, see, yeah, when a woman dresses like a man, that's usually acceptable because it's like, oh, they won't accept her. She's a woman because she it's like Mulan. She has to sneak and be a soldier. But when a man dresses up like a woman, that just feels nefarious automatically. Like you are up to something, buddy. This is not the same.
It's not the same, but where else in video game history do you have something comparable in terms of inclusivity? I would say that those were the first instances of cross-dressers in video games.
Yeah, I don't remember too many of
I
those
don't know.
at all, honestly. I really don't. I can't think of any games.
Seven is my biggest memory of anything going on like that. I can't think of anything else.
Eco-terrorism. Final Fantasy VII was eco-terrorism.
In
yeah,
Fable, a monk pretends to be a dancing girl until the player talks to him. He then reveals his true identity and dances. So after he reveals his true identity, he still dances like a girl.
Where is that? Go back to that. Where
This is in
click
the
on it.
fandom.
It's
What
cross-dressing
town is it?
for Final Fantasy, so it's telling all the Final Fantasy cross-dressing.
Oh, it's saying the appearances. Okay, so I was wrong about 2. It was in 4, not 2. Forgive me.
Fable, a monk pretends to be a dancing girl. Also, in the 3D version, if white is considered to be a male, then his costume based on it seems like a lot going on in Final Fantasy with the cross dressing.
Oh yeah!
Wow. Okay. I mean, not that anything's wrong with that. I get it. Final Fantasy IV. That's probably hard to find. Is this the guy?
Yeah, that's the character itself.
Okay, but the scene, it's going to be... it's super pixel. Okay, I got you. So that's probably how they got away with it.
Well, the remake might have it, most definitely.
Good Lord.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever played the remake.
I think I've played it. I just don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, that's kind of rough, man. I mean...
Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is it. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Gosh.
The information I can remember and then the information I can't remember is ridiculous.
Yeah, so he's just dancing and flopping around all over the place. I get you, buddy. Oh, and this is what he looked like before when you first started talking to him.
He's a good,
and he
like
just pops
all
the wig
other
off.
sexy dancers in the game. And then Cecil's like, "What the?"
And then he's
taking it back, and he's just going ham, dancing on the bar, twirling, spinning, sashaying.
That's a lot, buddy.
Yeah, you tell them they can't incorporate the beige mane. Stop it.
Yeah, you.
The Trailblazers. Continue in your trailblazing direction. Square, get it done. Wow. Send us our check for the compound. Beige mage, you're welcome.
Immediately. But yeah, man, I'm glad people are listening. I'm glad they're listening, and even if some of them are a little bit upset about certain things, I usually take it as, like you said, people want to be walked through the information. They have questions about certain things. And because of this simulation that we're always talking so much about and pointing out the flaws of, it doesn't always leave room for people to come and ask questions and say, look, I'm a little bit confused about certain things. Could you explain it a little bit deeper? Sometimes they just send you a fuck-laden hate mail. And then they just expect you to address it all because that's how it goes. Instead of saying, hey, help me out here, they say, fuck you, you're stupid and you're wrong. And then they want you to explain it all to them about why you're not stupid and you're not wrong. And this happens a lot. This happens a lot on the internet. It seems to be a really effective way to get people to engage with you. Most people would just hop online and start talking shit to you rather than, kind of humbling themselves and asking you to explain your premise or clarify certain things and blah, blah, blah. It just seems to be easier to just cuss people out. So
That's what everybody wants. They just want to yell at each other.
Exactly.
Nobody on the internet is having full discussions and
I think what they really want is human connection and engagement. That's what they really want. But they don't want to be vulnerable. Because if you come to us and you say, hey, fellas, can you explain this? We could just be like, fuck you, I ain't explaining nothing. And then you get played. And then you feel like, so they just lead with the aggression and hope that kind of ends up in people explaining things and the whole math of it being laid out. But that's not how we operate necessarily. You can always just hit us up and be like, hey, could you clarify this one thing? I heard you guys say this and then you said that, blah, blah, blah. Could you straighten it out for me? But, sometimes I guess I can respect a fuck-laden hate mail because that means you're listening consistently enough to think that there's a flaw in the philosophy. If you just listen to one episode, you don't know what the hell we're talking, whatever. But if you listen frequently, then I can see how you might get the wrong idea about something, or I get it. So I appreciate the guy reaching out, even though if it was with like a dirty hand. He reached out with a dirty hand. That's what it was. He tried to shake your hand. He just picked up some poop in a dog park. You don't know if he used a bag or not. His hand's a little smelly, but he still reached out for some engagement. So I do appreciate that much.
Fair.
Yeah. A filthy handshake he offered us. A filthy, dirty handshake. But yeah, man, I get it. I'm 100% in the direction of moving as far away from this system as possible. But, in the immortal words of Denzel Washington, I'm leaving here with something. That's what he said, right? He got invited to a award show and he didn't win, so he walked out with a whole tray of shrimp or some shit like that. He's like, I'm taking something, bro. I'm taking something. I'm not just gonna walk out of here and let you guys, I've been sitting here all this time. You wasted my day. I need to get a tray of shrimp out of you or something. I gotta get something out of you. And we've been on this planet for a long time, and they've been trying to bleed us dry the entire time, pretty much. I don't think they necessarily want you dead. They just want you to work and be miserable for as long as possible. And then you die. And then they take all your shit and put it back in a box. Shake it up and then dole it out to whoever comes behind you. And that's just the way they play. So I think to interrupt that game as little as we can, because it's not like, I guess if enough people adopted that idea, then maybe some changes would happen, or they would be forced to just go mask off and be like, fuck you, we're chaining you to the conveyor belt. And that's just how you're going to live now. But I would rather be in that mask off world and see how people deal with that versus this kind of little insidious thing of keeping everybody at each other's throats, and the blacks versus the whites, the poors versus the rich, the straights versus the gays, like all of that shit. Because I think all of that shit is distraction. I think
sounds like a good Street Fighter game.
Yeah, the straights versus the gays. I think the gays lose 80% of those fights. I could be wrong. That's not my bigotry speaking. I'm just thinking I just feel like, if we're just talking about gays, trans people will probably hurt you pretty bad. But just straight up gays, they're going to lose. They're going to lose 80% of those fights. Very few straight versus gay fights are going to go in favor of the gay. That's just not, you're not built for that. You're not built for one-on-one combat. If it was a dance contest, a little bit different. I think the straights would be in problem if it was a dance. It would be some trouble. But if it's a straight up fight, I don't think the gays can handle combat like that. You don't want to be in any combat with a trans person. I think a person who's willing to, like a dude who was willing to get breast implants
gays might be able to fight if we learn about the history of the Spartans. Might have to think about that one.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, if they're openly gay, let's put it that way. Openly gay, you're gonna lose. If you're
not when you're spending 3 months with another man, you're like, hey.
Yeah. Closeted gays are gonna win because they got a lot of frustration.
They got a lot of
there's a lot of violence in the closeted gay. Like as we can see by all the thuggery going on in hip hop culture. Like we've said all the time. We've said it multiple times and nobody's even attempted to prove us wrong yet. Unapologetic violent criminality is latent homosexuality. So if you're gay and you feel like you gotta hide it, you probably have some of the most aggressive criminal tendencies ever seen in human beings. But if you're openly gay and you're just like, what do they do? They sashay? What's the word?
They're flamboyant. That is a funny thing, right? When you're openly gay, like they're super flamboyant.
Yeah.
But when you're a closeted gay, you are extremely violent.
You're
dangerous. Dude, you've heard like somebody from Trinidad or Jamaica have the patois. Speaks perfect English, and they get on the phone with somebody from the island, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, you talk like that? It's the same thing. It's gay patois. Like they don't have to talk like that, but it's like another language. It's like, all right, you're in. Because dude, it would be hard for me to believe that all of these people from all different places in America who turn out to be gay or they happen to be gay, all talking that same kind of, you know what I mean? Like if it's gonna be flamboyant and over the top, like that's something like it's a universal culture that's kind of been adopted. Because it's more feminine than a woman. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's something that's just,
they take the extremes of each.
It's cosplay.
Sex. It's
cosplay of a woman. It's a female minstrel show. Like they're making fun of
their Jamaican talk.
Yeah, they're just making fun of women. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I saw this video the other day. This is just a short one, and it's on a terrible website. Nobody ever go to worldstarhiphop.com. Don't ever go to that website. It's terrible. But I did see somebody post this on Twitter. So I clicked the link and I went to it just to see what it was. But this is perfect for this conversation. So this guy, it says, dude gets caught in a sus moment and tries to play it off by fighting a man. So this is the extreme aggression of the closeted gay. Allegedly. I don't know if this guy's gay, but you just tell me, you watch this video, you tell me what you think.
Everything. Oh no, hell. They got camera on you, bro.
Hold on, wait, what happened?
You wanna fight, nigga?
What they do?
We actually
Pushed
pushed
it. Fight, nigga? I'll beat the fuck out you, nigga. They got the camera
Look how
on you now,
confused he
nigga.
is.
I'll beat the fuck out you, nigga. Come ass out of here.
Okay, so
This is someone struggling with emotions.
he throws the guy on the ground. Now, I didn't want to show the extreme violence here, but just listen to the logic in his mind.
Come ass out here, nigga. I'll beat the fuck out you, nigga.
Wait, what'd he do? What'd he do?
I don't know what fuck what he did. Get your ass out of here, nigga.
Yeah.
He said, I don't give a fuck what he did. He was
That's
just,
definitely his bottom.
he was hugging the guy. He was just hugging him. What happened? When he saw that look.
Everything. Oh no, hell. They got camera on you, bro.
Hold on, wait, what happened?
You wanna fight, nigga?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, bro. Listen, violent criminality is latent homosexuality. Like, is this just proof, or I haven't seen anything that disproves that theory at all. Nothing.
Yeah, if you hear one of those stories, like, he was arrested again, he has 47 prior felonies or 47 prior arrests, that's a dude that's had homosexual encounters.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And he doesn't know how he feels about it. He's confused.
Right. He hasn't come to terms with it.
Right. He's not sure. He doesn't really like it. He's not super happy about it.
He came with a man within his 6-inch bubble. A man has came, or he has came with that man somewhere within a 6-inch bubble. Regardless of who did what, that happens.
Yeah,
and I don't think
he's definitely had a mangasm somewhere in his recent past.
Because I don't want to. I gotta leave that alone. It's just,
it's about to get graphic, but I just haven't seen anything that proved it wrong. He could have. There was so many ways to exit that situation, and all he knew how to do was go straight for violence. I'm just gonna beat this guy up. He wasn't even touching you. You had your arm around him, and somehow you turned that into, I'm going to beat this guy up now because I saw somebody put a camera on me. That could have been your uncle that you haven't seen in a long time. It's my homeboy. You know, even if I've seen men in that position just standing on the street. Two guys, y'all drinking 40 ounces. Do people still do that? I don't know, but they're drinking beers together.
They still do it.
You could totally put your arm around a guy and laugh, or bring his attention to a woman and go, you see that bitch right there, man? Oh, yeah, I'll let her have it. Like, there's a lot of ways you can be seen with your
In that
arm
position,
in that
right.
position, and nobody looking at that. Well, not nobody. Somebody who may have some tendencies on their own, they might think something funny, but that doesn't really
Most
guarantee.
people wouldn't bat an eye.
Exactly.
Just
That was nothing. Why did he
right,
get
right.
so angry?
His reaction was an admission of guilt.
Right.
That had guilt written all over it. And I Wasted again said that Street Fighter had a character named Poison who was a trans. I didn't know Poison was trans, and I feel bad now for jerking it to her.
Oh,
I thought
boy.
Poison was a chick.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Street Fighter Poison.
Yeah, she's got like a hat and a whip or some shit.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
not.
Oh.
Are you sure?
I don't have any reason to.
Okay, let's
to
Google it.
Discredit Wasted again.
All right.
Wasted again is
Let
probably
me put
correct.
this on screen here so everybody can
Yeah,
see us
Poison
discover
trans.
it in real time to see what's going on. Hold on, where we at here? Okay.
And it seemed like they would play that up now more than ever if that was the case. Poison is a character in the Final Fight and Street Fighter series video games created by.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Let me see here. Let me make sure everything's completely on screen here.
Yeah, Wasted again. Do you have any receipts, sir or madam? That's got to be a sir. Wasted again. That's a funny name that.
Is Poison from Street Fighter a guy? In 2007, character could be male, but added it was up to the viewer to decide. That means he's got a penis.
Yeah, that's a trans.
Yeah, definitely. It could be.
If that's your answer.
Yep, he's got. Yeah, yep, it is.
That's your answer.
It is. What is Poison's gender? No, from say he'll always personally view Poison as being female in Japan and only being transgender overseas.
Oh, dude, that's America. Do you understand how much everyone hates you?
Wow.
Like TikTok is like, yeah, our kids are gonna learn how to measure the circumference of the Earth with shadows. You guys, you're gonna talk about your demon self and goat self and 800,000 different genders. That's what you're gonna do. Japan. Oh yeah, that sexy bitch with the fat titties. She's definitely a girl. For you Americans,
No,
that dude's got a fat dick. It's only trans overseas. They won't take it there, but they're happy to export it here.
Yeah.
And we eat it up. We're happy to have it. Thank you.
Dude, that's wrong, bro. And this may be, other than Cammy, this may be the most scantily clad
Cammy's a
person
woman.
in Street Fighter.
Whorish.
Cammy for me.
Yeah, I mean, but Candy's Cammy's barely dressed also.
And
That's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
military with a tea-back.
All right, so let's
A
look
tea-back
at both
one
of them.
piece. Yeah,
look
Cammy
at
may be more whorish than her. Well, no. Because it's a one piece, she's more covered. It's a ridiculous outfit for the military, but if you're putting it next to like leather Daisy Dukes and a whip,
Right.
she's
Right.
more
That is the
scantily
most.
clad.
That is the most useful military outfit known to man.
It
Come
is,
on,
it's true.
you don't need no pants.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
My legs are
What you need
camouflaged. They
pants
can't
for?
see me.
No, she's got some
Like-
camo stripes on her legs. You can hide in the
That's
bushes
what I'm
like that.
saying, bitch. You could have wore pants with camouflage. Like, nope, I gotta have these sexy ass columns out. Just paint some camouflage on them.
Bro,
I'll
there's-
take body paint.
There's barely any images of Cammy in the game. It's just all these like fan art and cosplay. There's
Right.
barely any actual images of her from the game. I guess. I mean, I know, but then when you go back to Poison is definitely, I don't know, them some serious abs too, bro. That's a dude. That's totally a dude.
Yeah,
He's covering up the Adam's apple.
Yeah, with the
with
choker.
the collar.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Look at this one.
Oh,
Japan,
look
US. Oh, that's terrible. Look what they do to us, bro. Damn. Well, not terrible because it's trans. It's just that why would it be okay for American consumption but not for Japanese consumption? That's a little bit weird. That makes me question the whole process. Oh, I get it. Whatever. Have fun. Have fun. If you were able to rub one out to her, you deserve it.
Hey,
You
you're
deserve
not a
it.
dinosaur bigot.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations.
What you did was prove that you're not a dinosaur bigot.
I think I'm
Damn.
uncancelable now.
Yeah, you can use that in an argument when people are like,
Yeah.
You're a bigot, you're a homophobe." Like, nope,
No, no.
I beat it to
jacked off the
poison from Street Fighter successfully to completion.
That opens up a whole nother. It's like, I don't know, dude. I think there's something. If you're beating it to non-humans, I think it's already a far gone. It
That
doesn't
makes you
matter at
more
that
of
point.
a leftist, though. You know, because they got the furries, they got all kinds of shit going on. So, yeah, if
Hentais were a thing, and then after a while, you just have to give it up.
Yeah, I
Damn,
can't. I
dude.
think. Yeah, we're just
I
gonna
didn't
leave.
know.
all
Yeah, I
that
gotta
alone.
get out. I gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
Because now I'm just like, what else is going on in Street Fighter, bro? Hugo is her
Well, I've already
boyfriend.
made the claim that Japan has been trying to fuck up the American.
Hugo's
youth
a what?
generation.
It says Hugo is her boyfriend, a gay character in Street Fighter. Oh, now I gotta go back.
Oh shit.
Hugo's the
Hugo's
biggest dude.
gay.
Hugo.
Yeah, he was the dude that slams you on the subway in Final Fight, and then they brought him in for like Street Fighter Alpha or something.
He can't be gay, bro.
Now he clearly
No, there's no way Hugo's gay.
Is that
Well,
the
no,
guy
no,
with
no,
the
no,
overall?
no.
Oh, the
with
pink.
the big hair. He's not gay. He's open-minded.
Come on, he's wearing pink.
Oh, he
He's
is
wearing
wearing
pink.
pink. Oh,
He's wearing pink.
shit.
And he has a chain belt. This is as gay as you get.
Yeah.
And she's got a whip. She's a
Whips
dom,
and chains.
He's a sub.
Oh my god.
That's
we
a
get it.
village man right there singing YMCA.
Now we get
Yeah,
it.
you don't want to get slammed by this guy. and I'm
Of
just
course
saying
he's
that
the perfect slammer.
because he's
Of
huge
course.
and he's strong. That's why you don't want to get slammed. You don't want to get slammed by Zangief either, to be, But I'd rather get slammed by Zangief than Hugo. For my own
Then he
personal
will give
reasons.
the pleasure of killing you.
For my own reasons that I'll keep private, I would rather be slammed by Zangief. See, I didn't know all this was going on in Street Fighter. I learned
Yeah,
something
I didn't know all
today,
this Street
bro.
Fighter lore either.
I had no idea. I had no idea there was trans or gay characters in Street Fighter. It's complete news to me.
A trans character and her boyfriend is a gay character. Oh gosh, dude. Yeah, well, look at the head. Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
there's a lot of primping that goes into that kind of hair. That's wavy, salon fresh, perfect hair. All right, let's. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That
Oh,
look-
he laid on him. Yeah.
he
Even
just
when I'm
laid
looking
on-
at the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Come
don't
on.
even bring you down like a regular pile driver. He
That's-
just flat out lays on you. Okay, that was pretty benign. The
That's
slap.
what he's gonna do to you
That's
in
the
the jail
that's the gay
cell.
guy slap. He slaps you, throws a drink on you. Yeah, this is a little weird, man. I mean, is it now that I
Oh,
know?
Oh
Dick
yeah,
grab.
that was definitely ball.
Wait, is that what that
cuffing.
was?
That was
Yeah, that was two
that
ball
was definitely
cuffs.
cuffing the ball.
Oh,
How's the prostate? How's the prostate?
Cough,
You
sir.
got those fingers back there. Yeah.
Oh, he even
Oh,
opened his mouth in that one. That's
Oh,
that's
he's got.
hilarious. Okay,
Wait,
come
what
on.
was that move?
Yeah.
What's that move? He just turns around and butts you?
Yep.
Throws his ass right at you.
Yeah, what are you gonna do now? Ugh.
And yeah, even in the animation, there is like he is kind of flamboyant in the way that he moves. It's like real kind of free and like I don't know, almost like a ballerina. It's very graceful.
Yeah, gaceful. Yeah, that's terrible.
There it goes.
How did
Well-
this happen? How did this get past our radar?
I don't know. But
All
once
right,
you
well-
see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, now I know. You learn something new every day. I think if you're in a Street Fighter tournament and somebody picks Hugo, you should be able to quit right then and there. Like, I don't want this guy touching me. Not because you're a bigot,
Disavow.
or anything, but you should.
You sir, a dinosaur bigot.
I mean, you should at least get a bye. Like, I don't want not him. Nope, not this guy. Not anybody but him.
Pick a different character, please.
Yeah, please pick a different character. I don't want to get slammed by a guy wearing pink and doing a little bag cup as one of his moves. I don't like it. Well, hey, it is what it is. It's 2023. Why not have gay fighters in the game? What,
Japan throwing the gays in
bro?
America. for
Homosexuality is just scary when it comes to violence. Because you know what? That's probably how women feel. Like when women are being attacked by men, there's always a possibility that if he turns the tables, he's not just gonna like punch me out and kick me and then walk away. Something else worse could happen. right? Something else can happen. And I think that fear exists in women when they're in any type of aggression with men. It's always just underlying. Like I said, I heard the comedian Corey Holcomb one time say, and in the moment it sounded outrageous and I was appalled. But then afterwards, once I thought about it, I was like, you know what? It's probably one of the best things you could do. They were asking him if he thought he could beat a female MMA fighter. And he was like, you think you could take her? He was like, who, her? And like, yeah, could you take her? And he was like, he said, I'll whoop her ass. And everybody started laughing. He said, and then I'll rip her shorts off. And I was like, bro, that's terrible. But then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That's probably the greatest fear that if you're being aggressed on, right? If you fight back or if you just throw a couple punches, that's one thing. But if you actually tear some clothes off, like, you don't have to go all the way and commit a crime. But, I mean, clothes get torn off in fights, right? Like, two dudes fight, somebody's shirt ripped, that's regular. That's normal. So if you're being aggressed on and you beat somebody up and you purposely tear off some of their clothing, I think that might put a deep, serious fear into a person. And that's fair. That's fair. If you're fighting somebody and you need to make sure that they're going to run the other way, whatever you have to do to strike the fear of God in them, I think it's fair. So why not rip her shorts off? Hypothetically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't think of anything that's going to scare. No, don't actually. Don't actually get the butt. Don't do that. But
this is bad.
Spit their ass.
I'm saying, though, that's scary, right? That's mad scary.
That's what we're all afraid of if we go to prison right now.
That's the only
That's
thing
exactly
to be
what
afraid
we're
of.
afraid
I
of.
mean, other than being stabbed 200 times by 11 people, like, that's pretty scary. But before that, that's getting off easy, actually. If you go to jail and you get surrounded by a bunch of dudes and they just all, like, you know, hyper quick stab you.
I'll take the hyper ooh, ooh, ooh.
Bang, 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 you know?
And the screaming of my pants being pulled down.
Oh no, yeah, that's much worse. That's much worse. If you get surrounded by guys and they start ripping your clothes off, you should say, where y'all knives at? Where y'all shibs at, bro? Stop playing. Where the shanks? Get the shanks, because I don't want to play this game. That's way, way worse.
Someone's got to die.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just do the killing. Let's get to the killing part. Forget all that other stuff. Y'all being weird. Stop being weird, yo.
Can you imagine?
Get the shanks, bro. Yeah, nah, that's not cool. That's why criminality is homosexuality. There's no way in the world you know what's going on in there. And you're just going to work this hard to go to a place where the men are angry, mad strong, and sexually frustrated? That's where you want to be? Not doing it. I don't give a shit what it is, bro. You doing drive-bys, you in a gang, you transporting guns and drugs on the highway. Secretly, deep down inside, you're just like, yo, send me to where the men are.
You get one. You get one to say, okay, I've been there, I've seen it, I misjudged it, I get it, I don't want to go back there. But if you got more than one, then you have no excuse.
No.
Because you could kind of say, I really didn't, I didn't consider the gravity of my decision. I didn't know man sex was on the table.
No.
I didn't know my life was going to turn out.
I'll give them one.
You ain't seen movies growing up?
If you're a knucklehead and you get caught and then you go there and then you see it and then you get out, and then the moment you get out, your whole aim in life is, I'm never going back. If that doesn't, that just becomes an integral part of your identity. Like when people call you up and you're close friends, like they know, like, nah, I'm not even going to bother because, what's his face? Like he's not even going to want to do it. Like you can't even smoke a J around that dude. Like he's super by the book. He's not trying to go to jail. Like it just becomes who you are at that point. Your entire campaign of life is about making sure you make decisions that will ensure you never go back to jail. Like that's who you are. But if you're not that person when you get out, then absolutely. There's no guessing. And there's nothing wrong with it. But, you're a homosexual. You
Yeah.
just are. You for better for and there's a whole world ready to embrace you and accept you now. So you should be okay with accepting yourself. You don't have to keep robbing people at gunpoint for no
Right.
reason.
Right. You don't got to
You
keep
don't
attacking random strangers in the street.
starting fights
Yeah.
because you got caught with your arm around the dude. You don't have to do that. You don't have to inflict bodily harm on others. It's okay for you just to suck and fuck dicks. You can have them. They can be all yours, and it doesn't make you a bad person.
Facts.
I don't even think you could find too many religious people who would make that argument anymore. You know, and some people would say that oh, well, that's terrible. That's a bad thing. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. You think? I think if you really study and read any of that shit, you think there's more of a problem with two dudes who are like, look, I don't know if there's a God or not, but ever since I can remember, I wanted to fuck butts or have my butt fucked, and I just can't get enough of dudes. I love the way they move. I love the way they look. I love the way they smell. I fucking love dudes, and I love their cocks. I love them. Those two dudes pleasuring each other and not sure about the underlying linchpins of reality. Those dudes are better people than a person who's like, look, I've read the Bible, I've read all the holy text, I got all the information, I'm going to lead people in the spiritual enlightenment, I'm going to help them, and my house will be the biggest, and I'll have a private jet. Keep sending those tides. The world is going to be fundamentally, the dude I'm basing this off of said, sell all you have. He didn't even say keep one thing. He said, sell it all. If you can't sell all you have, if you can't sell everything you own, you cannot be my disciple. That guy, yeah, I represent him. I have a private jet. That dude is way more evil than two dudes who are like, my biochemistry is telling me to fuck butts. I'm wired to do it. Just like you eat meat, just like you get angry, just like you want to fuck pussy, just like all of these impulses. Well, it just so happens my genetic soup wiring is telling me to fuck pussy. And it just so happens the creator of the universe that I can't prove and I've never seen super likes it when you fuck the pussy, super hates it when you fuck the butt.
And the woman's butt is also acceptable.
Sometimes, depending on the sect. But they'll say, like, even though they've never got special revelation, they're relying on the same decisions of man and authorized. They're reading Tertullian or whatever, and these bodies and councils and these institutions of man became the authoritative consciousness, and you know that you're in alignment, but this person's not, and you got all the answers, but you're still gonna run off with all their money and think that it's okay because you happen to like fucking pussy. It's just absurd. It's absurd that that's how people are gauging morality. But I think most people, even religious people, are just like, I don't think. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? At the very least, they're at who gives a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe there was a time where it's like, nah, we have to hunt them down. We have to take them off of here. It's like if you picked up sticks on a Saturday. We got to take them off of here. That sentiment, if it exists at all, it exists in such a minuscule amount, you'll probably get struck by lightning before you get hunted down for being gay. That's just the reality of it. So in this context, on this part of geography on planet Earth, please stop beating dudes up for no reason. Please stop getting 1-year-olds in strollers killed in crossfire because you haven't accepted who you are. Just fuck these dudes and love these dudes. And stop murdering and being violent. Accept yourself. Accept yourself. You don't have to go to prison to be free. Like that's the message. You don't have to go to prison to be free. You can be free right here on the outside of prison. Be who you are. Don't just be free to who you are in prison.
That's a great Stop the Violence campaign.
Right.
Just to assume that all of this violence is coming from you being a closet homosexual, so you don't have to go to jail to be free. You could just be yourself on the street. Like, what do you do with that as a criminal? Like, how do you rebuttal that? I'm not gay. Like, no, yeah, you are. You just got to stop doing all this violence. So you're saying you don't want to stop the violence because you do want to go to jail? Is that it? Like, jail is technically probably, other than San Francisco Pride Parade, that's got to be the gayest place in America, right? Like a supermax prison? Am I wrong? Am I missing something? What place is gayer than a supermax prison? I don't even think like a fucking secret bathhouse in the back alleys of L.A. is as gay as a supermax prison.
Dude, I think if you went per capita, if you did like a heat map, if you checked the density, there would be less homosexuals in San Francisco than in a prison. Whether you self-identified or not, just a simple survey. At any time, have you been in man butt or has someone been in your butt? At any time, for any reason, since your stay here. And then you're in. I think if you took an accurate census and charted it out, a supermax prison would absolutely have more homosexuals per square footage, per capita, than any neighborhood in San Francisco at random.
Gosh, stop being gay. And
stop being violent.
Stop being closeted gay, which creates the violence.
Stop being violent in lieu of being gay.
Right.
Just go right to gay. We don't need all the violence in between.
We'd rather have more gay than violence.
Right. You're going A, B, C. Just go from A to C. It's living a lie, go to prison, do gay stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Living a lie, commit a crime to go to prison to do gay stuff. No. Right. Don't commit the crime, don't go to prison, just do gay stuff.
Yeah.
Just do it. Save our streets, save our children, and just be gay.
Crime plummets. Everybody's happier. There are less people being assaulted in the street, less drive-by shootings. All of that. You can just do all of the things.
Investment. How many companies come along like, I've been wanting to build a grocery store in this neighborhood for years. The gunfire has never ceased long enough for me to even consider it as an opportunity.
No,
now I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to pull the trigger and dump $30 million in here. Now we're doing it.
Wait, okay, so first, Wasted Again says stop the butt talk. That's your bigotry screaming from the inside. So first of all. Second, he said...
It's a Rorschach test. You got to look at it.
It is. Right. He said, is it our responsibility for our own happiness? Let's not try to fix the wildly imperfect world and till our own gardens. I like your bubble theory. That's absolutely the bubble theory.
Ostensibly, that's it.
Because the greatest asset you are ever going to be to other people is you in your highest resonance. You're not going to be of extreme value to other people if you're pissed off at the world, if you have it's just not, you're not going to be at your best. And people who need you the most are going to need you at your best. So the best thing I can do for anyone else is to work on myself. First and foremost, I have to be in high vibration and excellent resonance for me to be of use to anybody else. So the bubble theory works. What use are you going to be if you're full of ulcers and anger and migraine headaches because you can't stand what's going on outside in the world? But if you've been tilling your garden all day and you've been tending to your flowers and your barefoot grounding and the people in your house are happy, when somebody calls you for advice, you're going to have more thought processes, more equations available to a calm mind than there are to an angry, frustrated mind full of anxiety. That's just the way it is. He says, I'm the mayor of a town in Missouri, not telling you which one. I believe you. This is the kind of shit that we resonate with. We resonate with the right people. I might have to go visit Missouri now and just see if we can bump into each other. But this shit is perfect. I think, like I said, everybody who is going to need us is going to need us at our best. Your garden needs you. Your garden wants you to be. It has more to give you than it requires from you. And that's a fact. I've been saying this tomato thing for a long time. Nature deals in cascading abundance. Humans engineered scarcity into the system, right? You plant one tomato seed, you get one plant, it gives you 30 tomatoes. Every tomato has 100 seeds in it. Man has never created anything that multiplies like that. He creates a thing that decays, so you got to go buy more. He gives you he gives you the light bulb that's going to die in 6 months, so you got to buy another one, when there's a live stream of a light bulb that's been burning for like 100 years.
And you know what the bubble also forces you to do? Because everybody's out here talking about all the evil and the cruelty in the world, and all of these supply chains that just have misery on 80% of the stops on the way to you. The only way you guarantee that the food you get isn't from somebody being exploited or from an animal being mistreated is if you do it yourself. That's the only way you know. If you plant it and grow it yourself, even people, I buy organic, but how do I know it's really organic? Grow it yourself.
It's not.
That's the only way. It's so unfair, the way they pay these Mexican immigrants, $20 for the day, and it's so wrong, but they grow it yourself. They grow it yourself. And what you'll start finding is, well, damn, it's a lot of work and a lot of energy. I want to have clothes that aren't made by tiny, achy hands. Then you got to build it yourself. You got to make it yourself. Or maybe your compound makes the clothes and trades it with the other compounds, because, hey, we know this is cruelty-free clothes. But then you'll start confronting the reality, like, man, some of this shit that we have, you just can't get it without the cruelty. You can't get it without the misery in the supply chain. And then you got to confront a moral question for yourself. Is anything worth having if it necessitates this level of cruelty to another human being?
Right.
And then if that's so, then you can make a moral decision to say, okay, this is why I have to be unplugged from the machine. The machine insists that the only way we're getting all of these conveniences, the only way we're getting all this luxury, is somebody's got to get fucked up pretty bad in the process. Has to get screwed over one way or the other. And you can't reform that system. There's too many people with too many values and too many competing agendas. You can't calibrate that. But what you can do is have some autonomy in your immediate family and immediate community, and live by your own values and produce your own things that are free of the cruelty. And then what you might find out is, like, man, a lot of this shit that we're getting in trade for supporting this thing where we hate the end product. The end product is war and oppression and exploitation. Like, I know I'm not directly contributing to that, but I know I'm somewhere on the assembly line. I know my human energy in one way or the other helps fuel that end result.
Right.
Like, I didn't shoot the gun, but I mined the I work on the oil rig that pulled the oil, that fueled the truck, that delivered the bullet to the bait. You know what I mean? Like, you're somewhere a cog in that machine. And the only way you can get the blood off your conscience is if you're like, look, I'm not contributing to it. To the least degree that I can. You got to pay your taxes. You got to conform to the law. There's no way around that. But if you're self-sustained, growing your own food, producing your own shit, and coordinating with other people, even if you don't agree with their whole values to the degree that you would want to live with them and have a community with them, cool. But you agree that the end product of the status quo is absolutely unacceptable. It creates way too much human suffering for what we get in return, and the trinkets and the luxuries aren't worth it. Right? And if you're not willing to make that decision, then I don't think you're really serious about morality as you say that you are. Because all of these people will come out and they'll preach like, oh, and you got to do this, and Jesus said this, and Jesus said that. I'm like, but all of y'all are playing the power game. You go to a church where the pastor's a millionaire. You have millions of dollars worth of assets, but you're still going to the grocery store buying the same shit. Why don't y'all have a farm yet? Why don't y'all? Why isn't that money going to creating sustainable living for everybody in your church? Right. You're teaching all of these people these moral lessons every week, and then you're sending them off to contribute to a immoral system. But that's not at all how it happened in the Bible. Everybody left their jobs. Everybody was like, yo, drop your nets, come follow me. Fuck it, let's go. Let's leave this shit behind. Because if we keep gathering fishes, we're gonna keep sending salted fish to the troops at on the front lines that are taking over the next country as Rome expands. We're just helping them fuel their shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we need to create a different paradigm. We're we're not gonna be able to change it from the inside. we have to leave. We have to go and build something different. But as much as those people will stand behind those books and stand behind us, they'll tell you all day, well, God hates the gays. You got to hate gays. You got to be against homosexuality. That's the biggest issue. But it's like, but where does the sell all you have and give to the poor thing come in? Like, no, but America's a special nation. It's blessed by God. Then why did the devil take Jesus up to the mountain and say, all the nations belong to me? All of this is mine. Why does the Bible say that the devil is the god of this world? America's not in this world? Like, everybody wants to think that the way that they're utilizing power is God sanctioned. And really what you have at the end of the day, you don't have morality, you have tribalism. And tribalism is really good at masquerading itself as morality. So we're tribal, we're against the gays, because that's a magical super hyper sin. But we're completely okay with the greed. We're completely okay with the decadence and the excess. We're completely okay with that. But look, you may be pimping the people and living a really luxurious life at the expense of all of these people's ignorance, but at least you're not doing butt stuff. So I could roll with you, because I'm sure that's what God cares more about. All of these bodies that are going to die, that are going to decay, that are falling apart, that's more important about where you're sticking and what's being stuck into that. That is more of a moral question than how you're treating human beings and determining their level of existence and how their energy is being harnessed, because you're at the top of the pyramid living a completely outrageous and decadent life on the backs of all these people who are looking for answers. That seems way more nefarious and exploitative. Way more than just two dudes who are gay. I don't get it. I don't get how that's the most diabolical shit on the planet.
It's not. Period. It's just not.
It's the easiest thing to point at to make everybody forget what's really going on. You know, when you see two guys kissing, you're like, oh, we don't care. Oh, oil. What?
I've always loved how there's so much nuance with so much silly shit as far as religion is concerned. It's like he said, you're talking about gay stuff is like putting maggots in my coffee. This is an opportunity. You don't have to
visualize it.
This is an opportunity for you to purge your bigotry, sir. There's no topic that should feel like maggots in your coffee, especially when we're talking about how it's not. It's really just so you have premises laid out religiously in the Bible. Go ahead.
But before you go, I'm sorry. That's all that the difference between Christianity and Judaism was tribalistic cultural supremacy and being virtuous or being good by virtue of your tribe versus your actual behavior. That was the actual argument being had in the New Testament. Are we righteous with God because we're Jews? Or are we righteous with God because God is righteous? Like because of the work of Jesus. Did Jesus save us? Right? Is God the one that actually solved all this, or is our cultural preferences? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain people. There was a time where I couldn't stand the smell of pork. If you cooked pork in front of me, I would just be disgusted by the smell. There was a time in my life because it was so other, right? That if you don't eat something or it's got a certain stink to it, I don't like it. But to say I'm a good person, I'm a bad person, whether or not I eat that shit, right? That's stupid. Like, it's okay to be reviled by things.
Right.
Like, if you see two dudes kissing, it's okay to, like, yeah, that is maggots in your coffee. For you. And for certain people, it's whipped cream on the coffee. Right. But for certain people,
or Brussels sprouts.
It's like, it's Brussels sprouts. It's a cup full of Brussels sprouts doing butt stuff. All in your coffee.
Hot dogs in a bun.
But really, we're talking about cultural stuff. You're talking about a cultural preference. This shit disgusts me. This shit doesn't disgust me. But when we're talking about morality, we're talking about what do you do to other human beings? That's what it is. Right. If you're exploiting people and robbing them blind and hustling them out of their money, you're doing something bad to other human beings. If you're having sex the wrong way, I guess. But this is just like the same shit where they went to Jesus like, look, yo, this bitch was fucking another dude. It says in the book that we murder her, right? Nah, I'm not gonna murder her. But you're supposed to murder her. Which one of you hasn't done some fucked up shit?
Right.
Like, if you ain't done some fucked up shit, then go ahead, murder her. But this is just, yes, she committed adultery. All of us have fucked up, you know. And you trying to get at me because I healed this dude on the Sabbath. You can't heal people on the Sabbath. Why? You think a law was imposed? Just don't do anything on this day. It's magical. If you do, we gotta kill you. You think that makes any fucking sense? You're gonna use that as an excuse not to help somebody? This dude couldn't walk, and now he can walk. I helped him.
But what day did you help him on?
Right. You configured your religion in such a way that you could make helping somebody be the wrong move.
Right.
And that's why people hate lawyers. Lawyers don't get to the justice of the matter. Lawyers find out how to exploit what's written down to get criminals off the hook. Like, that's what lawyers do. It's not about the truth of the matter. It's about arguing the case and making your point. So that gay shit is, look, I look at that shit as like a cultural preference. Whether you eat bacon or not. Bacon could be the most disgusting thing to you, just like homosexuality could be the most disgusting thing to you. Just like bacon could be the most disgusting thing to another person. But when someone has sex in a way that you don't like, or when somebody eats bacon, you got to ask yourself, how has this wronged the human family?
Right.
How has this brought more misery in the world?
Right.
And if there are things where you can draw a direct line to this behavior and human misery, and you're not constantly calling out and fighting against those things, but you can't wait to tell people how good and righteous and holy you are because you don't like the gays, I think you missed the whole point. And that's what the whole religion shit was. Jesus was like, yo, you motherfuckers have missed the whole point. You've been writing shit down for thousands of years. You've been dressing up in silly hats and going behind curtains and burning fires and writing laws down, but you haven't produced decent human behavior. You're just exploiting and fucking people over like everybody else is. You're just doing it with a different hat under a different name. But you think that's the righteous way? Nah, look, all of you got it wrong. All of you got a fucked up version, and I'm going to show you how you do it. Everybody else was a liar, a thief. I'm the good shepherd. I'm the only one organizing humanity, not for the express purpose of exploiting them and fucking them over. And look, I'm not running for office. They tried to make me king. I didn't do it. I didn't try to get in as a Pharisee or a Sadducee or get in the Sanhedrin. I didn't try to replace Herod. I didn't, because I know all of these power structures are fucked. They're not designed to produce anything righteous. I'm not involved. I'm just here to show you the truth and to give you an example of what to do, and they're going to murder me. Because that's what they do. They weren't like, hey, thanks for showing us a better way. It's like, nah, dude, we're making a lot of money off this power pimping shit. We're doing it through religion. We're doing it through politics. And we've got a nice power structure in place that makes us a lot of money, that makes us a lot of, gets us a lot of comfortable seats in the world and makes our life easier. But it really ain't doing shit for y'all.
And that's with everything. That's not even, you could even escape the religion. Like politicians do that shit. That's what everything.
It's the human condition.
Yeah,
it's the human condition. Humans gonna human always, and the sooner we figure that out, the better off we're all gonna be. And I think the talking, and it's funny that we keep landing on this same thing, especially with the gay stuff and all, because it seems to be one of the most used tools to drive division with people. Race and sexuality right now are the two biggest hot button topics.
Oh, most definitely.
Race and sexuality. And
the gays are winning though. I don't know how, but they're winning with.
They're winning by losing in public.
Yeah,
that's how they're winning. They're winning by losing because their way of winning is self-destruction. And honestly, you could move that over to the race conversation too. We got an entire culture built on self-destruction, wanton, unapologetic self-destruction. And it's the most popular thing going for this group of people.
Black culture is horrible for itself.
Right. It's destroying itself at every turn, and also projecting itself onto everything around us, because humans love a train wreck. right? So it's so destructive that it's monetizable. And that's what's making it spread even faster. It's getting worse. There's white kids beating each other up with baseball bats in cul-de-sacs.
We gotta agree that we no longer want to be a part of the train wreck.
They got gold teeth. They
At some
calling
point.
each other nigga. And it's like,
But we've agreed to let them have it.
oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
those of
Beat her
us
ass,
who,
Rachel.
those of us who are intelligent and we've technically cast off blackness from ourselves. We only exercise the ownership of it to show how ridiculous it is. So we've cast it off. I personally don't identify with the term even anymore. I understand my genetic makeup. I understand my personal DNA situation, but I don't necessarily adhere to an idea of blackness because it doesn't mean anything. The
I want
only
to go
thing-
back to colored.
Yeah,
Not gonna
definitely.
lie.
Colored people is way better than people of color. I'm sorry.
back to colored.
Colored people is way better. But I don't identify with it at all because it doesn't denote anything about anything. No character, not about your life choices, not about whether or not you're compassionate. It's just telling you about an immutable characteristic that you can see if you look at me. And it's a lot of hustlers and grifters out there pretending that it means something else. Like Nick Cannon saying blackness comes with compassion. That's a lie. And Dr. Umar saying blackness and African, like there's a mindset that comes with it. It's not. It's really not. There's an entire range and gradient of people under the concept of black. There's drug addicts, there's drug dealers, there's criminals, there's sexual deviants, there's doctors, there's lawyers, and some of those are overlapping with each other. Black don't have nothing to do with nothing. The shit don't mean nothing. So I don't personally identify with it. And I mean, I'm sure somebody will hear that. And if you want to come on the show, like I said, the door is always open. You can have the floor. Explain to me why it's important for us or any of us to identify with the color of our skin like it means something other than just the color of our skin. Because it fucking doesn't. You're going to lose that 100 out of 100 times. But
And don't tell
you're
me you
invited.
love Malcolm X, because Malcolm X said he'll work with anybody.
Right.
No
So...
color, the skin, any of that.
But the race and the sexuality seems to be one of the easiest ways to drive a wedge in,
They're easy
in people right
distractors.
now. Very easy
They're easy
distractors.
distractors.
Pointing fingers like sexual deviance doesn't exist across all iterations of humanity. Everywhere, no matter where you look. I mean, look at half of the people who talk about family values and anti-gay Republicans. What do you
Right.
think? You,
Think
Meth.
about like all those anti-gay pastors.
Meth
that
and
get
Right.
caught.
hookers.
They
right.
get caught.
Yeah.
with
All the time.
I forget the last dude, Ted something or other. You know, but look, and that's again something to shame Christian culture for, is that look, if that dude is gay, you say he's called by God, right? I mean, everybody's been listening to him. Everybody says, yeah, I feel the spirit, brother. I feel the spirit too. So you've acknowledged some sort of spiritual value or wisdom that he's been giving you, but because how he's wired sexually, then that just throws all of that out the window. And just if I give you this scenario, like just think through it. Like God gave you consciousness. It's pretty much the only thing that lets you interface with him and makes us distinct from the animals, if you believe in God, is that we have consciousness. We have the gift of language. So just think it through. You got two gay dudes who have sex with each other and nobody else, and they're good to each other. They live with each other. They help each other when they feel down. They lift each other up. They pay bills together, and they contribute to society. And then you got a straight dude that's fucking everybody's wife in the congregation. And you're telling me that dude is more righteous by virtue of his heterosexuality?
Right. At least he's doing it right.
Right,
Bro, I was in a cult before this.
And not a good
basically
one.
Yeah,
Not a
basically
good one,
Christian
yeah.
cult.
Full
And
disclosure.
then the wife is dreaming that I'm the homosexual for whatever reason, but you're not dreaming that this man is sleeping with everybody's wife.
Right. God has showed me, brother, that you are struggling with homosexuality because I haven't seen you trying to fuck all the women here like the pastor is. So that tells me you're probably gay. The
Right.
Lord has told me.
According to her,
silly
you
shit.
my nigga now.
Right.
I'll never forget
It's
that.
just
That
the
shit was
bu-
amazing.
it's the buffoonery, man, and it's
Yeah.
Look,
it is
because
what
I
it
think.
is.
Go ahead, my bad, man.
No, I said it is what it is.
I am
It's
on
just-
Adderall today. I apologize.
It's humans doing what they've always done. They latch on to something and they drive it into the ground, and they'll use anything as a weapon. You know, you write a book, you tell people to treat each other good and love each other, and they'll figure out a way to use it as a hammer to hit you over the head. It just is what it is. This is a part of human nature. It's unavoidable, which is why I always say, and I'm going to continue to say it, it's my worldview crystallized into 4 words: metaphysics, or we're fucked. Unless humans evolve on a cellular level, there's nothing we can do to avoid this stuff. There's nothing we can do to avoid it. All we can do is hopefully be introduced to the way, carry out the work in a way that it is transformative to us personally, and act that out in plain view of everybody who's watching. You can debate if you want to, if that's the game you want to play. You can debate people. You can yell and scream at each other because you think you're going to change them. But it's just another level of the same game. The only thing you can, in my opinion, the only thing you can really do is work on yourself. All work is self-work, and be an example of what you think the world needs more of. What do you want to see more of? Be that. If you think people aren't compassionate enough, be compassionate. If you think people aren't nice enough to each other, be nice to people. That's the first way you do it, and don't hide it. It's very difficult for me to come out of my hermit mode sometimes because I'm always here at home and I love it here, and I'm working from here, and I'm trying to, everything that I've organized my life with is me trying to make everything I can from this place here. I don't really want to go out into the rest of the world most of the time. It's exhausting, but that's the work we have to do. We have to let this be seen. We got to talk about it in places where other people can hear it. We got to put it on a podcast. We got to put it on wherever we can to broadcast and boost that signal, because that's all we really have. Hopefully it lands on some people who say, you know what, you're right, I'm going to try that too. Maybe if I'm decent to a person at Walmart, they can pay that forward. Maybe they smile and they pass that smile on to somebody else, but you don't get to just stop people and be like, hey, you should be nicer, or just complain about why people aren't nice enough. This is an opportunity for you to fill a gap. Fill that vacuum, fill that void. Be the thing that you think the world needs more of. And that's the work, in my opinion. But carry it out however you see fit. If you think that means throwing Molotov cocktails, I mean, hey, who am I to tell you not to throw Molotov cocktails? Maybe it'll fix something. Who am I to tell you to not eat the rich? Maybe that'll help. I don't know. But maybe eventually the table's turned and you're the one on the dinner plate. That's usually how these things go. It creates these stains that you can't get away from. If you think heads need to be removed for the changing of the guard, guess what's going to happen when people get sick of your shit? Heads are going to be removed. That's just the way it is. You set the precedent. So the only way I see is personal self-work and us radiating from our compounds and showing people the process of how to embody that same energy, or cellular evolution caused by either, alien brainworms, or some kind of fungus like the Last of Us that makes humans compassionate and makes them treat each other with respect and kind. I don't know what it's going to be. But you can't force it on anybody. There's no no switch you can flip to make it happen. There's no political party that I think you can trust with that mission. You can't legislate it into reality. There's nothing you can do other than trying to walk that path yourself and spread it to the people that you come in contact with, the people you love, the people that's closest to you, and the people that you organize with. That's the only path I see, which is why we talk about cult life so much, because that's what that is. Don't think that just because you get together with your friends and you do things that's empowering to all of you, is healing to all of you. I don't care if you're just doing yoga and eating organic food together. People are going to call it a cult, and it is, and it's fine. That word is not negative. It's not necessarily means you're doing something evil or you're trying to hurt people. It's just a word.
No, it's because everybody's there rallying around a principle.
Right.
And that's a completely different paradigm than the one that we're living under, where everybody's here because we're forced to.
Yeah.
We're forced either at gunpoint or out of desperation, but we're forced to, right? There's someone else who has power to force us to do something, but it's not like we all agree to it. It's not of our own creation. We're kind of born into it, and we have to accept it. And at some point, if it's not working, yeah, go and build your own shit and show the way. Like you said, by example. By example. Don't wait for anybody else to do it. But it's just a completely different dynamic when everybody there agrees on the principle and you're there with a purpose. And that's why we're seeing all of this shit where people are making politics a religion, because at the end of the day, everybody needs some kind of religion. If they don't have it, they'll make it up. We're wired for something, some sort of value system. And that's why we have all these conveniences. We have all these trinkets and all of these gadgets, but we have such unhappy people because there's no meaning in anything that we're doing. And it's like, if you're going to spend your life here on planet Earth, you might as well invest your human energy into something that you believe in. And right now we're all invested energy, but nobody really believes in fucking anything. And that's why, like, culture is the crapshoot that it is. Yep. It's we're all focused on dumb shit and being outraged at each other. And really, the more that you wrestle with that, the more that you're in bed with it, the more that you got it all over you. The best thing to do is to take your ball and go home.
Absolutely. And when nothing is sacred, we destroy ourselves. When things are too sacred, we destroy each other. So you put shit too high on the pedestal, that gives you a path to judgment, to point a finger at whoever is not praying enough times a day, whoever's working on the Sabbath, you got to kill them. And when nothing is sacred, we tear ourselves to shreds because we don't have anything to believe in, and we sink into this deep, dark hole of nihilism and shit like that. There is a middle ground. There's a middle path somewhere in there, and it's a little bit different for everybody, but if you exercise that openly and you find some principles that you think you should stick to, it's very likely you're going to find other people who resonate the same way as you do. And don't blame the people who are not vibing the way you vibe. Your tribe is not going to be the entire planet. Even if it's just 5 people, you get together, you empower each other, and I can almost guarantee that as you raise each other's vibration, so to speak, you're going to attract other people. Because people want peace. They want joy. They want to move through the world in a way that's not heavy and full of anxiety and inner turbulence and shit like that. So whatever it is that gets you to that point when you can just have an innate smile on your face and you just radiate dope energy, people are going to know what you're doing. So whether it's yoga and kale smoothies and shit, whatever it is, they're going to be like, yo, what is it about you and this group of people that you chill with that's giving you this energy? They're definitely going to want it. They're definitely going to want it. So, yeah, start looking for some property. If you can't, start trying to organize in your neighborhood, whatever it is. But that's the way, that's the work. I truly, truly believe that. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And I also want to say, I appreciate everybody who went to the shop on our last episode. A couple people came through and got some t-shirts and some flip-flops and some cool shit like that. So you are greatly, greatly appreciated. And all of this stuff eventually is going towards us manifesting and living out this plan that we've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a slow grind. It's a slow build, especially when you're openly exercising non-attachment to the system. Yeah, it's a slow burn, but it's powerful. It's empowering to us and the people around us. So definitely keep visiting the shop. Buy some art. Buy some T-shirts. We love y'all for that. It's swtko.art. That's pronounced Sweetco. Combination of my wife and I's last name. And yeah, just go check it out. Leave me some messages if it's something you want to see in there that you're not finding. Just let me know. I'll see if I can get it done. And yeah, this is the way, man. This is absolutely 100% the way. And if anybody else has a way that they want to exercise, do it. Do it in plain sight. Start putting up some videos. Leave us some a link to what it is that you're trying to build and what principles you're trying to erect it on. Show us.
Leave us messages on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah. Leave us fuck-laden messages on PlayStation Network. Whatever it is, show us what you're doing. Maybe we can take bits and pieces from each other's plans, and both of us can end up better off from having a view poured into what each other is working on. What are y'all working on? What are you trying to build? What is your path into joy out of this machine that runs on turbulent self-doubt and anxiety? What is your path out of that? I'd love to know. We've been talking about ours for a while here now, and things are ramping up. It's getting better for everybody, I'm sure, but I'd like to know what y'all are up to also. So, Let us know. I'll be looking forward to the messages. Like I said, hit that like button if you're listening. I heard the YouTube algorithm works even if you don't actually share the video to anywhere. Like if you don't go click it and put it on your Twitter or put it on your Facebook, if you just click the share button and copies the link, I'm pretty sure that completes the share activity as far as the algorithm is concerned. So click that button, copy the link, hit the like. If you want, drop it on your Facebook. Open the conversation up to some other people. If somebody wants to come on the show, let us know. We're definitely interested in talking to people, especially the ones who have been listening for a while and kind of know what we're up to and what we're working on. We'd love to talk to some people. So if you're down, shoot us a message. Just let us know, man. And I appreciate you, brothers, as always, for making time for this grand work. We absolutely are, no debate, the greatest think tank ever assembled, the Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen. I appreciate y'all. And everybody enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Beige Mage.
Beige Mage for the win. Y'all take it easy, brothers. And thanks everybody for tuning in again.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.